Hi everybody and welcome to another Crossfire Sector video. If you haven't seen the first video about Crossfire Sector, there will be a link in the description. But basically Crossfire Sector is a completely free skirmish wargame that you can download with a link in the description as well. The game has a low model count, it only takes a few dice, and you can get all the rules on one page if you print it out, complete with these faction cards. It's developed to be played in 15mm scale, but you can easily scale the game up and down. And you can get everything you need for Crossfire Sector free. In this video, we'll have the first battle in a Crossfire Sector campaign as well as some questions. But the most important thing is that there is another add-on for the game. Add-on number 2. That gives you 3 new things you can add to the game. And the first thing you get with the new add-on is a new print and play battlefield. And I know many of you would like to build your Crossfire Sector battlefield yourself, and I would too. I used this one in the first video and I still think I'm going to build something. But this battlefield will come in handy if you just need a quick game. And also it's easy to take with you if you just print it out. And you can scale it to larger scales if you want to. As it is now, it will take up more or less the same space as the one I used previously. And of course it's also complete with the same amount of squares. So that was the first thing in the new add-on. The second thing you get in the new add-on is a completely new faction. There are already 5 factions. This is faction number 6, the Crimson Pact. Ritual-powered shock troops, and by far the hardest hitting faction, but it comes with a price. They can also be extremely fragile. There are several special rules connected to the Crimson Pact, so don't pick them if you just want a more straightforward faction. Not that it's complicated, but there are a few special things, so let's just go through them quickly. They have the same special rule as the Solar Wardens. They can only field 4 units. They have a move of 3 and a range of 3, pretty good, an attack quality of 2 and a defense of 8. But when the first Crimson Pact unit is eliminated, the rest of the units will get +3 attack quality for the rest of the battle. +3, that's harder than any other faction, but it comes with a price. When a Crimson Pact unit goes down, it is automatically eliminated. No chance of being aided back up. And then finally they get +1 to initiative rolls. I'll make an example with some of the Crimson Pact rules shortly, but first to the third and final addition in the new add-on, and that is Crossfire Sector Commanders. In the base game, there is an optional rule where you can pick some commander traits for your factions, but in this add-on you will get commanders complete with cards that you can print out and special abilities. And there is 1 commander for each faction. If you choose to include commanders, of course, you'll have to do it on both sides. Let's take the Grey Cloaks here as an example. This faction will get their commander Vel Atrian. And he has 2 special abilities. Cloud Tactics that enables him to take initiative once per game, and he can dual wield melee attacks and attack 2 adjacent enemies when he wants to. So all you do is to field 5 Grey Cloaks and pick one of them to be Vel Atrian and use his special abilities. And there is a commander for each of the factions, including the new Crimson Pact. They will get their commander here, Malvorn Threx. And let's take another example. The Bird and Eye commander, Elion Veer, with special armor that gives him +1 defense and a scope that gives him +1 attack quality when he's not moving. So all of the commanders have 2 special abilities or traits. Some of them are once per game, some of them can be used anytime, and you can use commanders anytime if you want to. Now, let's make a short example of the Crimson Pact here in a fight with the Azure Blades. So the battlefield is ready, 3 pieces of terrain, and both forces have deployed. And here we have initiative, and the Crimson Pact will get +1 in initiative, so that is a tie, and we'll have to roll again. And the Pact will win. So they can move 1 unit if they want to, and they want to do that. 1 unit is activated, and then the Azure Blades can move 2 units. They are the speedy skirmisher units with great movement, but a short range of their weapons. Now it's back to the Crimson Pact with their 4 units. If they want to attack, they can only move half of their movement rounded up, that's 2 squares, and that will not take them into attack range. It's back to the Azure Blades. They can activate 2 units, and they are also short of any attack ranges. And finally, the Crimson Pact will activate their last unit. And that was the first example round. Let's take another one. We will have some combat here. And of course, round number 2 will begin with initiative again, and the Azure Blades will win this time, and they will choose to activate first. This unit will move and attack. They have an attack quality of 1. And 2 if they are into melee, but +1 against an defense of 8, and that is a hit. And now we have the very fragile special rule of the Crimson Pact, because their first unit here is down, but he cannot be aided up, so he is eliminated. And that will immediately activate the +3 attack quality special rule. Now all the remaining units will have +3 when they attack, and that is in ranged as well as melee. The Azure Blades have a defense of 8, so that's a hit, and the unit will go down. And immediately the next Crimson Pact unit will activate and take another shot at the downed unit, and he will eliminate the enemy. And the turn is back to the Azure Blades. Now they have to fire back, and that's an 8 + 1, that's 9, just enough to beat the defense of the Crimson Pact soldier, and he is eliminated. Next unit moves into attack range and also rolls an 8 with +1. That's enough to beat the defense, and another Crimson Pact unit will be eliminated. They really hit good. And now only 1 Crimson Pact unit is left on the battlefield for the next round. Let's just see what happens. Another tied initiative, and the Pact will win. So he will of course move in and take a shot, and he will hit with +3, and the Azure Blade unit will go down. So let's just stop here. That was an example of how the Crimson Pact can be very hard-hitting and also very fragile. Let's move to the real battle report of this video. This is the first mission in a linked campaign that will be in the next add-on. The campaign is called Crimson Eclipse, and in the first battle you can freely choose your faction, and you will also go up against a random faction. So I have chosen the Grey Cloaks against the Verdant Eye here. I have also chosen to include commanders on both sides, so you can see how the commander rules will work. Crimson Eclipse is a campaign where you will move on to different missions depending on the result of the fight here. If you win, you will move to one type of mission, and another if it's a loss. The objective is to breach the home zone of the enemy with at least 2 units, and there is a battle condition in this battle. It's radiation that will give all units +1 movement. And here we have the 2 commanders, Bel Atrian against Elion Vir. We have already been through their special abilities, and they will, without a doubt, be useful on the battlefield. Besides those, they have the same stats as all the regular units. Here we have the Grey Cloaks. They have good basic stats. They are the unpredictable tricksters because they have 0 attack quality. But when they fight, they can reroll 1 die. They don't have to, but they can. One of the 2 dice when they shoot, and the attack die when they fight in melee. And of course, if they reroll, the second result will count. The condition of this battle, where all units can move 1 more square, will be very useful for the Grey Cloaks because they have a movement of 4, and now that will be 5, and that means they can move 3 squares before they attack, or 8. And the Verdant Eye will have the same advantage. Let's roll for initiative. and the Verdant Eye will begin the first round. So they will choose to activate one of their 5 units. And since this is a breach mission, he will go forward, and maybe a step too far. The Grey Cloaks will activate one of their units, and he can move an extra square that will take him into firing range, and he fires, and that's a hit, because the Verdant Eye only has a defense of 7, so he doesn't need to reroll any of his dice. The Verdant Eye will go down. Next, Grey Cloak will move forward, and he can also take a shot. Maybe the first casualty is... No, that's not a hit, but he can reroll 1 die. And that's a hit. The first casualty of this fight. 1 Verdant Eye already out. Now, how will they respond to that? They can move 3 squares, but they have a very long firing range of 5, so he is in range. And the Verdant Eye will take a shot, but that's not a hit. The Grey Cloaks have a defense of 8. This one is Elion Veer. He is the commander. He will also move 3 squares, and that will also take him into firing range. And that is 8, equal to, but not enough to beat the defense. The turn goes back to the Grey Cloaks. They will activate their 2 last units in this round, and 2 units will move forward. They will move their full move range, and then the Verdant Eye will have 1 more activation, and that's enough to take a shot over here. Can he take 1 Grey Cloak down? No, that's not enough, and that will end the first round. That will take us to round 2. Crossfire Sector is played over 6 rounds. Round 2 will also begin with initiative. And that's a 5 and a 2. The Verdant Eye will take initiative once again, and they will again choose to activate, even though that means they only can activate 1 unit. So let's begin with the commander here. He will not move, and that will give him +2 attack quality if he takes aim and shoots without moving. And he will target the Grey Cloak here. 7, but that's +2, so he will beat the defense, because he's the commander with an attack quality of +2. His special ability, he will send the Grey Cloak into the dirt. And he is a bit isolated on the right flank. Can anybody reach him and help him? No, that's too far to move and 8. So instead, this Grey Cloak will activate and take a shot at the Verdant Eye soldier over here. And that's a hit. He will also go down. The turn is back to the Verdant Eye. They can now activate 2 units. The commander has already activated, but this one hasn't. From here, he could take a shot at the downed Grey Cloak, but he will move a couple of squares first and then shoot. And that's a hit. He rolls 9, enough to beat the defense, and the unit is already down and now out. That evened the score. Now the second unit will activate, move 3 squares and 8 his comrade up. So he's not down anymore. The Grey Cloaks can now activate 2 units. These 2 remain, and this one is Vel Atrian, the commander. So he will take a few steps, and that will take him into firing range of the Verdant Eye here. And he rolls not enough, but he can reroll, and yes, that's 11. He will take down that unit. And that leaves this Grey Cloak here. Let's see if he can move 3 squares and then 3 more shoot range. That is enough. He can take a shot at the downed unit. Maybe take him out. 7, that's not enough, but he can reroll, and another result of 7. The Verdant Eye will survive. And then they can activate their final unit. He will take 1 step forward. He has to reach the home zone, and he hits the Grey Cloak right in front of him. And he goes down. And that was the end of the second round. We'll proceed to the third. That again will begin with initiative. This is a fast game. Very fast and straightforward action. The Verdant Eye will begin once again. At least that's how it looks, because they will no doubt take out the downed Grey Cloak. So to avoid that, Bill Atrian will use his ability to take initiative. His cloud tactics will enable him to steal the initiative, and then he will activate himself and remove the Verdant Eye from the board. A melee attack on a downed unit will immediately take it out without any dice roll. But then, of course, the Verdant Eye will respond. This unit will take out the Grey Cloak on the ground, and they can activate another, and that is the commander. He will not move, but he will shoot. He has several targets to choose from. So what will be his choice? He will take a shot over here and fail. The mission here is to breach the home zone of the opponent with at least 2 units, so they have to get moving. This Grey Cloak will move closer and he will attack the commander. And he has the special ability, Special Armor, so he will not have 7 but 8 in defense. Of course, that will be tricky to beat for the Grey Cloak. That's nowhere near a hit, but he can reroll and fail again. The second Grey Cloak will activate and he will move 3 squares and go into melee with the Verdant Eye here. They will roll 1 die each, and the highest roll is the Verdant Eye, but the Grey Cloak can reroll to a result even worse, and he will go down himself, a failed charge. Last action of the round is the final Verdant Eye unit. He will try to shoot away the Grey Cloak, but he will roll 8, so he is on the ground but still in the game. And that will take us to round number 4. Vel Atrian has already taken the initiative once, so he will have to deal with the result here, and the Grey Cloaks will win this time. They have a unit helpless on the ground, but no one is close enough to aid him up. Instead, they will have to prevent his demise if they can. They only have 1 action, and this one is the closest. He will move 3 squares, and then he can reach this unit with a shot. No hit, but the reroll is better. He will take him down. The Verdant Eye can now activate 2 units, and they only have 2 to choose from. And we will begin with the Battle of the Commanders. Elion Veer will take a shot at Vel Atrian, and he will hit with his attack quality. He will take down the enemy commander, and the second unit will move in and aid his comrade up. Unfortunately, that leaves no Grey Cloaks to activate, so we will proceed to round 5. And the Verdant Eye really effective with a roll of 6 in initiative, and of course that will decide the Battle of the Commanders. Elion Veer will move in and destroy Vel Atrian. Only 1 Grey Cloak to activate, and he will move in and aid up his fallen comrade. And he was just aided up, but he can activate immediately if he hasn't activated this round before. But unfortunately, the melee will once again take the Grey Cloak down. And since the Verdant Eye will activate immediately after, he will move in and finish the job. And this final Verdant Eye unit will move towards the home zone and take a shot at the Grey Cloak. He will fail his hit this time. 1 final round remaining. Initiative. And that will have to be decided again. The Grey Cloak will win. And he will again rely on melee combat. That has proven to be a bad choice. And even with the reroll, it's still a really bad choice. So this Verdant Eye will activate, move to the home zone and remove the Grey Cloak, and the final units will also move into the home zone. The Verdant Eye will clearly win this battle. Elion Veer took out the enemy commander, and they have the needed amount of units in the home zone. They have breached the enemy. So the Verdant Eye will have a win here in the first mission of the campaign. The Grey Cloaks will have to go to the losing scenario. Of course, there will be much more about the Crimson Eclipse campaign and the 3rd add-on for Crossfire Sector. So far, I hope you will check out add-on number 2 It's already available just to download, as well as the base rules and the first add-on. Since the first Crossfire Sector video, I have received a lot of great feedback from all of you that has enjoyed the game and provided ideas and feedback, and I really appreciate that. I hope you'll enjoy the new edition here and print out some commanders and take them to the battlefield in whatever scale you prefer. I have also received a few questions about the rules, so this video will end with a few of those questions. The first question is about line of sight. Will friendly units as well as enemy units block line of sight? And the answer to that is yes, both of them will. You cannot fire through your friendly units and you cannot fire through enemy units, so both of them will block line of sight. The next question is about aided units that are down but aided back up. Can they activate immediately? And the answer here is yes, they can if they haven't activated in that round previously. If they have activated previously, they can still go up, but they will not be able to activate again. Final question is about the number of activations. Can you choose to activate the same unit twice? And the answer is no. Only one activation per unit on the battlefield. So if you can activate twice in a round, you have to choose 2 different units. I hope that answers some of the most common questions. If you have other questions, you're most welcome to ask them in the comments. And then go check out the new add-on here. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you'll join me for future videos.